Welcome to the last section of the subject verb agreement. Here we are going to study about those rules which have subjects of different numbers. Till now, whatever rules we have studied, most of the rules had two subjects and both the subjects were similar in form. And depending on the use of these singular subjects, both singular subjects in a sentence, we used the number of verb. Means the singular verb or the plural verb. Now in this section, we will study about certain subjects which are of different number. I have two subjects, but both the subjects are of different number. So one subject as singular and one subject as plural. If such subjects are present in a sentence, what would be the verb forms? So today we are going to study all about it in detail. Moving ahead with the next rule, two subjects of different numbers. Now you see, here two subjects are there, but both the subjects are of different number. That is, one is singular and one is plural. Two subjects of different numbers, they are joined by either or, neither nor. Both the subjects are joined by either or neither nor. Means when I use either or neither nor as connectors, what do I find? I have a choice or an option. So any one of the subjects is to be considered. But when the subjects are of different numbers, which subject is to be considered? So let's see that. Two subjects of different numbers joined by either or neither nor. In such cases, the verb agrees with subject. Which subject? Nearest to it. The subject that is nearest to the verb. Let's see in the example, either Sohan or his friends are at fault. Now I have two subjects, Sohan and friends. Where Sohan is a singular subject and his friends is your plural subject. They are joined by either or. So two subjects joined by either or, I have a choice. So which verb? The verb should agree with which subject? That is your verb nearest to the subject. Two subjects are there. One is away from the verb, one is close to the verb. So the verb agrees in number with the subject that is close to it or nearest to it. So here in case of either Sohan or his friends are at fault, his friends is your plural subject close to the verb and hence your verb is plural. Same way, neither the crew nor the ship was found. Again I have two subjects, that is the crew and the ship, of which the crew is your plural subject and the ship is your singular subject. The verb is singular because the verb that is close to the subject is singular. I have singular subject close to the verb, so your verb is singular. And this sentence, both the subjects are joined by neither nor. So in such cases where I have two subjects of different numbers, verb agrees in number, person and tense with the subject nearest to it. Same way, if I have a collection of nouns, a collection of subjects, like in collective nouns, what happens in collective nouns? I have number of nouns together, put together as one group. So since collective noun is referred to as one single unit, one single group, it takes singular verb. Collective noun takes singular verb when subject is considered as one single unit, one group as a whole. The whole group is absent. Group is your subject. Group is your subject. The collective noun as one unit. So your verb is singular. Same way the jury has 4 members. Jury is a group of judges. Jury means a group of judges. When number of judges come together and help the main judge in taking the decision, that whole group is called as jury. So jury is a collective noun acting as a subject. So it's a singular subject, singular verb. Clear? But when the same jury, the same judges, when they differ in their opinion, like we have seen in Rustam movie, if you have observed or if you have watched that movie, you will see the juries differed in their opinion initially in the beginning stages. Some said no, Rustam was not guilty, and some said yes, Rustam was guilty. So when you watch that movie, you will come to know that the judges were divided on their opinions. So there, I am talking about the individual, the opinions. In such sentences, I am talking about the opinions, and opinions were unique or different with different judges in the jury. So collective noun, such collective nouns will take plural verb when the subject is considered as individual members of that group. The jury have different opinions. Means there were 5 judges and all 5 judges had their own different opinion. So now these judges, though it's a collective noun as jury, are divided as individual members. So when I talk about individual members, then the subject, the verb number is according to the subject. So jury have different opinions. So here jury becomes plural subject, and hence I have. Next example, the entire crew were arrested. Crew is a group of individuals working on the ship. Something went wrong and the entire crew, means each and every member of that crew, was arrested, and hence now here the crew becomes plural subject, and hence your verb is plural verb. So depending on the use of the collective noun in a sentence, the verb can be a singular verb or a plural verb. When the collective noun is taken as a whole unit, it is singular noun, and when the collective noun is taken as an individual unit, individual members of that unit, then we make use of plural verbs because the subject becomes plural there. Then the next rule, introductory subject. Now what is an introductory subject? Introductory subject is that subject which is replaced by the original subject. Sometimes what happens, we are unable to frame the sentence or we are unable to begin the sentence with the original subject. So there we take the help of introductory subjects. These introductory subjects include words like there and it. It and there are often used as introductory subjects when the subjects are replaced, when the subjects are placed at some other position in the sentence, but the main subject remains as main subject. And since the main subject is concerned with subject-verb agreement, so we have to search for that main subject, and according to the number of that particular subject, your verb takes the number, not according to the introductory subject. So in this case, you see introductory subjects agrees with the number that follows the verb. Means in case of such sentences where sentences begin with introductory subject, the main subject is immediately placed after the verb. So whatever subjects are present after the verb agrees with the same number. For example, there is no leaf on that tree. Now your main subject is leaf, not there. You can see there is present at the subject place, but the actual subject is leaf, which is singular in number, and hence The verb is singular verb. So this verb is agrees with the actual subject leave, which is singular in number, and hence your verb is singular. Same thing happens here. There are 12 months in a year. So your actual subject is 12 months, or you can simply say months. So you can see months are plural, and hence the verb agrees with this subject taking a plural number. So I have plural subject, plural verb. So whenever there is an introductory subject, always keep in mind that introductory subject is not the actual subject, and hence it is not going to impart any number to the verb. Instead, we have to look for the actual subjects, which is often placed after the verb. Pick out that subject, find the number, and according to the number of that subject, you will provide the number to the verb, as we have seen in these two examples. Then there is one more case where we talk about relative pronouns. Relative pronouns are those words which shows relation to its antecedent. Now what is an antecedent? Antecedent are those nouns or pronouns which comes just before the relative pronoun. Like Ravi, I have Ravi, I, you, and they as antecedent. Why? Because they are present just before the relative pronoun. So antecedents are those nouns or pronouns which are present just before the relative pronoun. So since in such sentences, your subject is the relative pronoun. Now, this relative pronoun acts as a subject. So, how do I know what number it takes? Go to the antecedent, find the number, and accordingly give the number to your verb. For example, it is Ravi who is to blame. I have Ravi as antecedent. So, who is this who? Who is this who? This is Ravi. Who is this who? Ravi. So, now who will take the number of Ravi and will give the number to the verb. So, who becomes your subject? So, in this case, you have singular subject. Who is your singular subject? Now, relative pronouns are acting as subjects. Remember this. And this relative pronouns takes a number from the antecedent. So, since antecedent is Ravi, Ravi is singular in number. So, your verb is singular. Same way, it is I who am to answer. I. What is the verb used with I? Am. I uses am as a verb. So now who is this you? I. This who is I. And hence it will impart its number to the verb. So I is singular. So who becomes singular subject? And am becomes singular verb. Okay? Now let's move to other person. Remember, relative pronoun will agree with the number in its antecedent. This relative pronoun will agree with antecedent. So according to the antecedent, the verb takes the number. Now this number which the verb takes must agree in person, number, and gender. Now here gender is also important because we have masculine and feminine genders, and we have different verbs for it, different pronouns for it. Got it? So, the next example, it is you who are to speak. Who is this who? You. Who is this who? You. And you, be it singular or plural, always takes a plural verb. You as subject, be it singular or plural, always takes a plural verb. So now your verb is plural. According to you, your verb is plural. Same way, if I have plural nouns, it is they. I have plural subject. So who is this who? It is they. So now your subject becomes plural subject and hence your verb is plural verb. So I hope all the rules are clear to you. With this, we come to an end with this topic, that is your subject verb agreement. If you all have any doubt, do ask your doubts in the comment box. Till then, wait for the next video. Keep watching. Bye-bye.